Hello, it's Dan from SkillsMiner again. I'm just going to take you through some of the super admin features that we've created that will enable us to sell to other colleges, training providers, local authorities, things like that, anything really, and the number of ways that we can do that. So the super admin feature is something that we will maintain, just because there's a few things in there that we kind of need to keep our eyes on that could otherwise break the system. But just to briefly describe how this would work, if you see here, this is the pool of users that we currently have in our live system. So you can see you guys in there as well. Because I'm in the live system, I'm not actually going to add anything in here, but if, for example, we wanted to add a new college, for example, we could just enter that in there, and that would create a new panel on here for the organisation. Like I said, I'm not going to do that just quite now. Alternatively, if we didn't want to actually create a new instance, if it wanted to be managed within the NCFE or Cache alumni system, then we can just create them as a provider underneath you guys. So the same thing could be done here. You can just create that, and then underneath Cache alumni you could have Middlesbrough College, for example, and then they could be part of your system that way. So there's a couple of ways we can address that. They can have their own unique instance, or they could have they could sit under you almost as a subcontractor, if that makes sense. Inside each individual provider, we can obviously set contracts, which I'll show you a little bit more about in a minute. So you can add a new contract here. So currently for Cache alumni in the live system, we originally set it up as youth engagement, which actually we didn't actually use. We've also done the Cache alumni website, and we've also done Illuminate. And the reason for setting these up as individual contracts is it just segregates the data, so we can then see individually how different contracts, we're calling them contracts, but really it's just, if you think of it just as being a way to segment the data. So if we look, for example, at the Cache alumni website, what we're then able to do is further tweak what the candidate or the learner will see when they log into the system. So they can either see things as career pathways, which is jobs and training, or we can set it just to be training, or we can set it just to be jobs. Now again, this just should hopefully make it easier if we're trying to give various training providers or local authorities different offers. That just then means if they've got individual requirements, where in some instances they just want their users to see jobs, or they just want them to see qualifications or training, or if they want them to see both, then this feature enables them to tweak and configure that requirement ever so slightly. Additionally, you can also hide missions. We just built that in because a customer of ours was keen not to show missions, just because they had their own kind of virtual learning environment type system. So we built it in, and then just obviously we've used that for other folks as well. You can also see the people that are in that system. We can set up our org admins, so you can see Dawn and I, the org admins for Cache alumni. We can add more should it be required. You can even just get a quick indication there of the caseload. And then finally the branding as well, which obviously is something that we discussed very early in this project. So for Cache alumni, we're able to set all of these up in the back end, so we're not having to mess around too much with having to get customized development to do it. So you can see all of those different features that you're probably already familiar with, and obviously that can be deployed in kind of minutes rather than getting a specific dev to do it for us. So you can see obviously we're looking at the Cache alumni one now. So by simply doing that, any user that goes onto the system, whether that's a candidate or a member of staff, if it's a managed or unmanaged service, will obviously see all of the white labeling functions as and when they go into the system. Okay, thank you very much.